All rise for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Alvarez.
Here.
Councilwoman Eckhart, absent. Councilman Larker.
Here.
Councilman Lord.
Here.
Supervisor Hay.
Here. Notation of exits at the rear. No, that's the front. This is the rear. Electronic device, please put it on vibrate. First item on the agenda this evening is a public hearing for State Line Retail Center. I'll waive the reading of the notice.
So move. A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You're back.
I am back.
Now, officially, this meeting was never closed, but we reissued a notice in the paper just so in case people had forgot.
Yes.
And continue on. Unfortunately, they made you do something which you're going to have to go back and do it again, but you did what they asked, and here we are.
Yes. Jamie Lejudas from Inside Engineering, Surveying and Landscape Architecture. So the project in question is the State Line Retail Center. We were asked at the previous town board meeting in June.
Can you speak maybe more into the mic? I can't hear you well.
Sorry.
You can bring it down a little bit,
Is that better?
maybe.
A little bit better?
You got it okay?
Okay.
Okay, you're good.
Okay. At the June meeting in 2018, we were here last as part of the seeker review for this project for your board. We did dispersals to the DOT. They had several comments. We went back and forth with them over a series of 6 and 7 months. We finally got them in a good position where they issued a letter which was forwarded to the board. Basically, that stated they found the project to be substantially compliant with the previous seeker findings, and that any changes to the plans as we have them shown would require further review. We do not have an end user at this state for this project. We are simply trying to get reapprovals for the site plan and wetland permit and special permit so that the property can be more marketable. So we are back before you in hopes of closing the public hearing and getting a draft resolution.
Okay, I'll take comments from the board first and then go to the public. Anyone on the board?
And how many more approvals do they get?
How many more approvals after
This is the first, so
Okay.
this is a full reapproval. So there would be 3 subsequent after this if needed.
2 more or 3 more?
3.
After this, 3 more?
And for how long are the approvals?
How long are the approvals? Each time?
They are for a year, I believe.
1 year?
I'd have to
interval?
double check.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Any public comment? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, move forward.
Fantastic. So I guess we would request that the board would review the seeker findings for the next meeting.
We'll speak with Ashley and see if that can be arranged.
Okay. I believe she had a memo that suggested that.
Yes,
Great.
I'll just verify it with her.
Okay.
And we'll get back in touch with you.
and then-
Next meeting will be on the 14th? Is that the date?
Yes.
Yeah, the
The
14th.
14th.
Okay,
Great. Thank you very much.
thanks. Next item on the agenda is a work session item. Make a motion to go into work session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
First item is discussion, Chapter 71, blasting permit issuance, insurance, and requirements. We have one active blasting permit here in the town of Southeast, and there's been some comment made on it, and during that comment period, the building inspector went through our current rules and regulations. It's Chapter 71, and right now that the notification is only 300 feet. And he's made a recommendation here this evening to increase that to 1,000 feet. The general liability, he's recommended general liability of $1 million per occurrence, $2 million aggregate. The town should be included as an additional insured on the primary non-contributory basis, and waiver of subrogation should be included in favor of the town. And then the umbrella policy of $5 million per occurrence and $5 million aggregate. Now, these numbers sound big, which they kind of are, but it's basically the basic standards, like with car insurance, it used to be 100 and 300, and now it's $1 million and $1 million plus. New York State Workers' Compensation, he's right, in addition, the code established a 300 threshold in 71-2B and 71A. In speaking with other members of the town board, it was indicated a greater parameter may be desired, and that's where the 1,000 feet has been recommended, but this town board would make that recommendation. So tonight, we're here for just discussion purposes, and if we come up with a number to put into the public hearing, we can have that for our next meeting as well. Would we have enough time, Will? If we put in next,
We
no?
won't have enough time to get into the paper.
Okay, it wouldn't be until the second meeting in March for that to take place. So, let's talk about the insurance. Does anyone have a problem with the recommended insurance?
Well, it comes recommended by our insurance carrier, right, Spain, so didn't they?
Well, this came initially from the building inspector, and
Right, but I guess it looks like Michael received a recommendation from the Spain
Yeah.
agency on the limits, so that's who we use through the state, the Spain agency, or?
well, they're our insurance carrier for the town itself, and they represent us through NYMER.
They're actually the broker. The NYMER is our insurance.
Non-resident
Okay.
insurance, okay. All right.
Okay, I have no problem with the insurances. Does anyone?
No.
Okay, how many feet? I mean, 300 is the length of a football field, and I don't know how far a rock can blast past, can it go 300 feet? I mean, I've heard some of the blasting up there, and I'm telling you, I was at Home Depot one day, and the ground shook, and I didn't really know what it was, and they said it was the blasting that was over on the other side of the road, and that was much further than 300 feet. You know, our town's getting smaller in size in a sense. I know it's still the same mileage and square feet and et cetera, but the bottom line is with blasting, people are much closer, more homes being built. So I would not have a problem with 1,000 feet. But 300, I think, is too short. So what is the pleasure?
I think 1,000 feet is good. I know that where I live on Jewel Road, we had somebody that had a private outdoor shooting range, and there was tumult amongst the different residents in areas around there, just with guns. So I think, and the nearest residence to that shooting range is probably at least a quarter mile. But it is something that's heard, and it does cause people concern. So I think 1,000-foot notice would be good, so the residents near this, any blasting site can know what's going on.
Edwin?
I don't know enough. I thought maybe 500. To me, I think if we make it 1,000, then somebody who's 2,000 feet away is not going to complain and say, well, why wasn't I notified? I don't know what the threshold or the point is. So maybe we just ask Ashley for an opinion of what's really customary. I don't really have a problem either way. I just think,
So we're going to
Yeah,
look
we
at
just
500 to 1,000.
you know, yeah, I mean.
Eric?
I'm fine either way, but I wouldn't mind checking with Ashley.
Okay, we'll check with Ashley, and we'll put it on for a public hearing based on whatever her comment is when we put it out there for what the footage is. Good enough?
Yeah, and then we'll hear from the public too, so.
Well, that's a public hearing,
Yeah.
but we have to, when we put the notice in the paper, we have to put down what the changes will be.
What the parameters will be.
So I'll ask Ashley and forward it to everybody.
Thanks.
So I will do that tomorrow, and it'll be, what's the 14th, it'll be the 20th of March. Now, what I'm gonna do tonight is I'm gonna probably recommend we do that when I do the meeting dates. Let me just write this down, public hearing, March 28th. And notice it this evening so we can have the 2 weeks, because that's why we're gonna make it this round. 2 weeks is not enough time. Okay, next we're gonna discuss is chapter 54A, numbering of buildings. I wanna thank Lori, she's doing a lot of work. The reason, part of that is Lori, because you're right across the hall from me. She's tired of me, guys. Anyway, It was noted that right now our town code requires 3-inch numbering on buildings, and not all the buildings are numbered 3 inches. So asking for 4 inches is not a ridiculous thing. But what I think is we should be consistent with building code. And what I think we should do, and the recommendation, again, from the building department, Kenny Clare got involved with this too, he's now working with the county, and that we should make our code consistent with New York State code of 4 inches. Now, we're not gonna ask people with 3-inch lettering or numbering to go to 4-inch. That's asking a bit much. We are asking, if you don't have any numbering, use 4-inch. And if you don't have it, please put it on your building. You know, a lot of people take things as a joke, like, you know, when you're riding down the road at nighttime, if you had cataracts like I had a couple of weeks ago, I couldn't see a thing, but now I can see 20/20, so I can see everybody in the audience, everyone's smiling, look at this, I like that. So, the bottom line is 4 inches is recommended building code, New York State wise, International Building Code, section 501, recommends 4-inch, our town code is 3-inch. So I'm just gonna make a recommendation this evening that we change our code to 4-inch to be consistent. We're not gonna make people go back and do it, and hopefully when they go out finding the numbering, that they can find 4-inch numbering. But anything is better than nothing, but minimum of 3-inch, but we're gonna put in the code 4-inch. And we can schedule this for a public hearing as well.
I can support
Anyone
that.
okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay, so that's 2 items, that's 501 code. Okay, that takes care of that one. Okay, now, number 3 this evening is discussion for the MTA access permit, Maybrook Bikeway Staging Area, 146 Pump House Road, tax map 45.83-1-1. Now, I put a star after it because normally the town board does not discuss an item and then put it to a voting on at the same meeting. The reason we have to do this is because time is the essence. There's a law in New York State about cutting trees. I believe the date is March 14th or March 15th, and you can't cut for quite some time. And they want to meet within this. Now, up on Pump House Road, I was speaking to Mr. Lepler earlier about one of our projects up there, you know, at the recreation with the Castle Park, which is going to be torn down and a new park put in eventually. Not sure exactly when, but we'll be speaking to it offline. Now, right where that park is, in the building, the recreation building, they're going to put a small road going down to the balance of our property, and they're going to put in about 20 spaces for the bikeway. Now, originally, they wanted to do it as soon as you cross the railroad tracks on the right-hand side. If they cut those trees down, it really would have made a mess. There was quite a bit of wetlands there, but they seemed to think they were exempt from the wetlands law. And then I said to myself, well, if we put it down there, we could then use that parking as well for our recreational purposes as well. So let them build the parking lot, possibly 20 spaces, and between the parking lot and the actual building, the rec building, there's going to be a nice piece of land, and we're going to try to put in 2 volleyball courts, which have been asked for by the townspeople for quite some time. So that's the essence of what we're going to discuss on that. So later on, this down the road, I'll waive the rules. I'm going to ask you to waive the rules and allow the different things. There's about 4 different resolutions there pertaining to that to be put on the agenda tonight and vote on it. And again, only because time is of the essence. Questions?
Yes, so they're planning, or you're suggesting that they move this proposed site from,
No, this is the site.
there was a site earlier, wasn't there?
Yeah, but it would never came to light to anybody other than ourselves. So.
Yeah, I thought we gave them an okay to do it, but
No,
okay, so now.
no, we never gave okay, that's what we're doing tonight. They did propose, like I said, as soon as you cross the railroad tracks on the right-hand side, there's like a little triangle, and there was a heavy stream coming from the lake, okay, that goes into the wetlands there. They thought they could fit it, they probably could have. The MTA has special exemptions from different SEQR, and we don't think so, but they seem to think so. But the bottom line is, it's on the way to the park. With all the traffic and everything, it's on the opposite end, way at the end, where it's not going to affect really anybody. Now, they will have to go through our park, but they're going to go one way or the other, and they'll be a lot more careful, I believe.
And right now, we have issues with buses turning, and we're closing the park.
And
So what's going to happen in
the
this
agreement,
circumstance?
I've already made them well aware, during the wintertime, this will be closed. It will not be open.
Why not?
Because,
I'd like it to be open.
what for? Who's going, you can't use a bike path with snowing around.
It's a good place for cross-country skiing if you have good weather, and I think it's.
Are you going to
would be
close,
nice.
are you going to open and close the park every day?
I'm asking what the MTA can do to make it so that they can have that
No,
open.
no, we do that, not the MTA.
Well, as a condition of giving approval for this, can we ask them to do
You can ask them
something?
anything you want. I'm not sure I'd want to do that.
Okay.
I mean, we have so many areas to go and do cross-country skiing in this town on the bike path and everything. Why way out there, I have no idea.
Because it's a beautiful stretch.
You know, it's out in the boondocks too.
I know, but that's sometimes what
Okay,
people
well,
want.
when we come to that, we'll make up the permit accordingly and we'll see if it flies.
Okay.
But we're a long ways from there.
Well, just so you understand, the permit that you would be voting on this evening, this allows them to go in to
Cut the trees.
establish a staging area
Use the microphone.
so that they can construct the bikeway on the trail. The future of the permanent parking area is still, that would be the next step. That
Okay.
would be after.
So it's just to give them permission to go ahead
And to use
Get ready.
our part of our property to stage their construction, so that they can park there and go up onto their right-of-way, do their work, and then, improve that basically the section from
from the old
from,
recreation hall.
Tenetta Lake Road all the way out to Patterson. It's a 5-mile stretch.
Yeah, it's a beautiful section. So, thanks.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay. Make a motion to move to the regular portion of the meeting?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Waive the reading of the correspondence, approval of the voucher list, $2,814,684.77. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Notice of setting the meeting dates and public hearings. All meetings will be held at 1360 Route 22, Brewster, New York, at 7 p.m. unless otherwise noted. Thursday, March 14, 2019. Thursday, March 28, 2019. And I'd like to schedule 2 public hearings for that evening, both items as discussed earlier this evening. So moved.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Waive the reading of the budget transfers. Number 5. Okay, it's a resolution to approve performance bond, Putnam Business Park, 1689 Route 22, tax map number 46.3-17. Now therefore be resolved that the bond amount shall be established for the project set forth below. Putnam Business Park addition, tax map 46.3-17, site improvements, $136,000, erosion and sediment, $38,200. Resolved that a certified copy of this resolution shall be transmitted by the town clerk to the planning board secretary and building inspector forthwith. And just so everyone knows where this building is located, when you're coming out of the Mount Evo by the light on Route 22, go straight across that building, across the street there. That is Putnam Business Park. Okay, so move for discussion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
On the budget transfers, did we have to approve that?
We did.
I didn't think we did. I thought we just said waive
Wait,
it.
oh, did we not? Did we not?
You need a second.
You didn't get a second?
Yep.
Okay, you want a second?
Okay.
Don't, no pressure now.
No, but now, do we now have to?
We'll revote it again.
Okay.
Sorry
Cool.
about that.
That's okay. Thanks.
Hey, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
That was on the budget transfer.
Okay.
Okay, now we're getting back to the agenda. Number 6, resolution, approved performance bond, New York American Water, 85 Fieldstone Drive, tax map number 46.2-23. Okay, now therefore be resolved that the bond amount shall be established for the project set forth below. New York American Water, tax map 46.2-23, site improvements $92,000, erosion and sediment $8,400. And be further resolved that a certified copy of this resolution shall be transmitted by the town clerk to the planning board secretary and building inspector forthwith. So moved for discussion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Number 7, it's a resolution Now, this is where we have to waive the rules. We have to waive the rules on number 7, number 8, number 9. So I'm going to make a motion to waive the rules to allow this to go from the work session to the regular session this evening, and the vote has to be unanimous on number 7, 8, and 9. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. First item is to declare the lead agency MTA access permit, Maybrook Bikeway Staging Area, 146 Pump House Road, tax map 45.83-1-1. Now therefore be resolved that pursuant to 617.6B1 of the State Environmental Review Act, the Town Board of the Town of Southeast hereby declares itself lead agency for the purpose of seeker for this unlisted action. So move for discussion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, number 8 is a negative deck. Let's see. How much I just have to read? I think we discussed that enough just to approve it that way, Will?
If you'd like, I can just touch on the
Yeah.
salient points. This is a determination of declaration, which is based upon the review of the environmental assessment form, which the supervisor will execute before the end of the meeting this afternoon, this evening. The EAF is dated February 26, 2019. The conclusions drawn from the EAF is that the project as proposed will not result in a, quote, substantial adverse change in existing air quality, ground or surface water quality, or quantity, traffic, or noise levels, a substantial increase in solid waste production, a substantial increase in potential for erosion, flooding, leaching, or drainage problems, will not result in the removal or destruction of large quantities of vegetation or fauna, would not result in the impairment of the environmental characteristics of a critical environmental area as defined in the code, will not result in the creation of a material conflict with the community's current plans or goals as officially approved or adopted, will not result in the impairment or the character or quality of important historical, archaeological, or architectural or aesthetic resources, will not result in a major change in the use of either the quantity or type of energy, not result in the creation of hazard to human health, will not result in a substantial change in the use or intensity of the use of the land being, including agricultural, open space, or recreational resources, will not result in the encouraging or attracting of a large number of people, will not result in the creation of a material demand for other actions that will result in one or more of the above consequences. It will not result in changes in 2 or more elements of the environment, no one of which has significant impact on the environment. And finally, it would not result in 2 or more related actions undertaken, funded, or approved by an agency, none of which has or would have a significant impact on the environment. In conclusion, the proposed action will not have any significant adverse environmental impacts. And it calls for a vote.
I'll second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Okay, that's the neg deck. Number 9. It's a resolution to permit town supervisor to sign the MTA access permit in Maybrook Bikeway Staging Area, 146 Pump House Road, tax map 45.83-1-1. Now therefore be resolved that the town supervisor is hereby authorized to execute a revocable license agreement with the MTA, wherein and whereby the MTA will use and utilize a portion of the Lake Tenaya property located at Pump House Road as and for a staging area for the construction and improvement of portions of the Maybrook rail line into a bike pedestrian rail trail in form and substance approved by the town attorney, and be further resolved that all actions heretofore taken by the supervisor in connection with this initiative is hereby ratified, confirmed, and approved non-pro-tunc, and be further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. So move for discussion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next is a resolution to approve the performance bond for Southeast Executive Park. I will read it into the record, and then I believe there's a slight presentation, so everyone has an idea what this is being made into, and you can make a presentation, so we'll just read this into the record first. Okay, let's see. Resolved that the bond amount shall be established for this project below. Project name, Southeast Executive Park. Tax map number 45.1-1-3, 45.1-2-1, 56.1-31, and 56.1-32.112. Bond amount, site improvements, $830,000. Erosion and sediment, $33,200. And be further resolved, a certified copy of this resolution shall be transmitted by the town clerk to the planning board secretary and building inspector forthwith. Just so all of you know, this is the glass building up on Route 312. Very, very successful from what it was way back when. I go there not as often as I should possibly, but I do go there, and parking is not easy to do. The town owns a property right behind it. It was gifted to the town by the county about 12, 15 years ago. It was a 10-acre parcel. It was hopefully the home of Opportunity Park, which is still on the back burner. And when I heard that I could see the problem with the parking, I thought it was a good partnership between the town and a private partnership, and give them additional parking. I believe 75 spaces? We have 75 additional spaces. And the good thing is, when the town may need it in the future as a town park or a town facility at whatever point in time, that the parking can be used like during the fireworks. We can cross over, use their parking, vice versa. So it's a good thing. And during the week, Monday through Friday, when they're the busiest, we're not probably going to be in that area. So they have quite a bit of parking, and we'll use our facility when they're done. And we've gone back and forth on this now for probably 2 years, all kind of, waiting for things to get done. And tonight, I think we're getting a lot closer. Okay, would you like to make so we're going to vote on it after a quick
And I'll
presentation.
second so that for discussion, which is really for the presentation.
Okay. And all in favor would be an aye, right?
It would be.
Good. Okay.
We are basically,
You know what you could do? Can you go so you could, the audience, we
I'm gonna
kind
sit
of
over
know,
here, this way,
but the audience, in terms so we can kind of share, we kind of know what it is.
Is there any way you can turn it so I can see with the camera, sir?
Yeah, just,
Like a 180?
yeah, do it out, go that way so they can see it. We know. You know, okay? John? Okay.
basically,
Can you see it on the camera?
Not as good as it used to be. Sorry.
Sir, in this case, you can talk, you can take the mic off, and you can talk more to the audience than the board, because we're all listening.
Sabri Barrister, I'm from Biba Associates. The proposed and approved proposal is tying the access road to the building, to the Independence Road, providing 2 parking stalls in there. Basically, existing parking used to be 239. We are adding 75 parkings, but in the process, we are taking 2 parking spaces out, totaling 310 parking space. Basically, we went through the exercise of getting approval from New York City DEP and providing stormwater treatment systems, stormwater collection systems for the roadways and parking lot, and basically the disturbance is going to be around 2.6 acres, well, some of them temporary. The collection system overflow connects to the Highland system. The whole analysis of drainage was done basically on the existing pond outlets, and found it it's not going to be any impact to the existing drainage system in the Highlands.
Now, quick question, I know a lot of people are interested in, when do you plan to start this, and how long is it going to take to get it accomplished?
In this spring?
This spring?
Yep.
And how long is it going to take approximately? 6 months, 3 months?
Maybe a year, 8 months to a year.
Now, you're going to hopefully keep the prime spots for your customers, so to speak, or clients, whatever, patients, et cetera. Is the new area going to be more for the employees, that they're going to be parking? You can have any kind of a shuttle going back and forth? What's the plan?
That's what we're gonna seek to do, because that will.
Would you mind getting up there so everybody can hear you as well, please? And just state your name for the record.
Alan Getz. I'm a principal of the ownership. It's our intention to have the employee parking in this area.
Sir, wait, can you,
in
now you
the-
want to see
the
it?
blue shaded areas, so that the main parking area that is now extremely congested will have many more spots. Because one of the problems right now is the employees get in there early in the day, they take the best spots, and then by the time they start having patients come onto the site, the best spots are taken, and the remaining spots are very hardly fought for. So this will free up, we think, more than enough to accomplish the patient parking, and the employees would then have dedicated parking, which will make it easier for them as well.
Now, when you say dedicated, they're going to be, I won't say assigned numbers, but they're going to be told they have to park there?
That's our intention.
Okay. And will there be any penalty if they don't?
Well, I think this plan is going to be very easy to make them understand how this is going to work best.
Yeah, the more patients they see each day, the more money's
I don't think
generated.
there's anyone more anxious to get this taken care of than they are.
Good. Okay. Okay, we appreciate it. Okay, town board, come on back up. Need your vote.
Just the only question I have, just refresh my memory, is it pervious or impervious? I thought, maybe I'm getting projects mixed up, I thought we had talked about like a grass, that concrete, that's like grass can come through it or not? I just
No,
don't
this
remember.
this parking lot and roadways are impervious.
Okay, thank you. It's like, you said, we talked about this like 2 years ago, so.
Any other comment?
Nope, no comment.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck. Okay. So that was the resolution to approve the performance bond, number 11. Settlement of certiorari proceeding, Dean's Corner Water Corp., tax map number 67.3-79.1. Now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Southeast does hereby accept the recommendations of professional advisors and authorizes the town attorney to execute a stipulation of settlement, consent judgment, and/or order on consent in accordance with said recommendation for the following. Petitioner, Dean's Corner Water Corp., tax ID 67.3-79.1, year 2018. Assessed valuation $863, settled assessment $215,750. And be further resolved that the town attorney is hereby authorized and directed to execute any and all stipulations, consent orders, and other documents necessary to reflect the foregoing settlement. So move for discussion. Discussion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 12, resolution settlement of certiorari proceeding, Meadow at Dean's Corner Sewage Corp., tax map 67.3-29.1. Now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Southeast does hereby accept the recommendations of its professional advisors and authorize the town attorney to execute stipulation of settlement, consent judgment, and/or order on consent in accordance with the recommendations for the following. Petitioner, Meadows at Dean's Corner Sewage Corp., tax ID 67.3-29.1, year 2018, assessed valuation $1.5 million, a settled assessment $375,000. And be further resolved that the town attorney is hereby authorized and directed to execute any and all stipulations, consent orders, and other documents necessary to reflect the foregoing settlement. So move for discussion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Number 13, it's a resolution performance bond for Dykeman's Corporate Park, 425-312, tax map number 45.-2-35. Whereas the town board is satisfied with the recommendations made by the planning board and its professional advisors, now therefore be resolved that the bond amount for the following project is set as follows. Project name, Dykeman's Corporate Park, sediment and erosion control. Present amount $49,900, recommended $19,500. So move for discussion.
Second.
Quick discussion, for those of you that know Dykeman's, it's on the left-hand side as you're going toward Home Depot, and it was once considered the site for Morrow Crane. All in favor? Aye. And next is the supervisor's financial report for 2018. It was, you know, I'm never satisfied with anything, so it was a good year. Could have been better. So we're not going to do 2019 this evening because we're way too early in the season, but let me go over some of the financials briefly for this year. What happened to that? Okay. The revenue projections were really, really well, except for the courts. And Will, I'm going to have to talk to you and with the board. The courts have had a really big drop in revenues. And I don't know if we're going to find what the cause is. Do you have any idea offhand why they have dropped so much?
Probably volume. I mean, that's generally what causes a drop in revenues, is our volumes have gone down, whether it's
Sorry, a little closer to the mic.
the volumes are what drive the court revenues, and there are certain revenues that the town keeps and certain revenues that go to the state. Without having, really analyzed it, I can't speak to it, but I think that a discussion could be had with the two justices to determine what their ideas are and what their thoughts. But
Okay, well, unfortunately, my analysis looks at the bottom line, and those are numbers. And this year, now, most departments in the town do not make money, and we don't look so-called to make money. I mean, something like the tax collector makes lots of money, but it's not real money. The courts generate generally each year around $500,000. Last year it dropped, not last year, in 2017 it dropped below $500,000 for the first time in probably 5 years. It went to $493, and this year it dropped to $268,000, which is really substantial. The difference between what it costs to operate the courts and the revenues generated was a loss of $373,000 for the town. I've always been an advocate that I think the state should take over the entire court system. They want to have elected judges. I don't have a problem with that. But it does havoc to this building when they have courts. It's unbelievable. They're a very busy court. But the revenues generated this year dropped off a bunch. So I think I'm going to sit with Will and one of the town board member and ask the judges maybe to comment, because this is a really severe drop-off for this year. And everything else pretty much, fell in line. I can't see anything that stood out either extra positive or negative. I always underestimate revenues, and I'm going to underestimate. Yes, I underestimate revenues, because what happened in the past before I got here, they would reject the revenue and you don't meet the revenue. Guess what happens? You have a really big shortfall. If you recommend you're going to make 25 and you make 10, you're down 15, and the opposite side you end up with 30. So in the end, we did come back with a surplus around $200,000 this year, after we made up for the court loss, which was a good thing. And there's nothing really else that stands out. The court was the biggest disappointment. So what I will do, possibly before the next meeting, I will ask the judges to meet with us, at least me and one of the town board member, and discuss. I'm not sure how we can improve it, but that's a substantial drop. And so far in 2019, there's not much to discuss. And other than that, that's basically the report for 2018. It's also online if anyone wants to go and review it. And the 2019 is put on every month, the same time we put out for the agenda this evening. Those documents are provided to the web as well. Okay, with that, I move to recognition of the public.
Good evening. I have a couple of, Kathy Croft, I have a couple of follow-up questions. Nothing that was on the agenda tonight, but, because you were speaking about the Maybrook Trailway.
Yeah.
So I was curious, because the Putnam Trailway at some point is supposed to be making its way over the Metro North yards. Is that still going to happen, do you know?
Which,
The Metro North yards.
Yeah,
oh yeah, that's the one that's coming from Carmel into Southeast.
Right,
And John's a better biker than I am, so I'll let him speak to it.
right, but you know where I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's, what happened was the contractor for that, they had.
Walked off or whatever.
Pardon?
He walked off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big time problems, been out there for probably 3 to 4 years.
Right.
They have a new contractor, and they expected to get done sooner than before. There's no-
Faster than Prospect Hill Bridge?
yeah.
Just so you understand, Ms. Croft, the project that is the Putnam Bike Trail is a county project.
Right. No, I know that.
And the
I know that.
Maybrook is an MTA project.
And it's totally different. I know I'm
Correct.
not talking about Maybrook, but it just jogged my memory when I saw you talking about Maybrook. I thought, ooh, what's happening with the, the county trailway?
I'll give them a call.
Okay.
'Cause I talked to this guy, John Pilner, and I
Okay.
think that they got the section below, I think from Brewster Heights over to,
Co-backers, Mike?
And from co-backers over,
Yeah,
yeah. But it's just not going across.
Well, they have to build a fairly
I know.
big bridge there, which at one time they were going to switch it. The other contractor was going to go down past Beechers, down that way, go onto the road, and go back. But now they're going to go back to doing the bridge again.
I'll check in with John.
Okay, great, thank you. And then another follow-up question on a bridge, Morningthorpe Bridge, which I know, again, it's the county was going to turn it into a pedestrian bridge.
Still in the works.
Any,
They have not notified the town or the village, as far as I know, as to where that project stands. All I know is I got permission from the DEP when I almost first got here, so it was almost well over 5 years ago, to allow, we have always had permission to use the field we rented for $1, but we wanted to make improvements to the field. Was
to
gonna be done with-
Electrozone, or whatever it's
Yeah,
called
it was
now?
going to be done
Yeah.
with private funds,
Yep,
and hasn't happened, because they intend to use the electric zone field to stage
Staging.
for that project. So it's been held up for quite some time, so I don't know where it stands.
okay, thank you. And then one more question about Northeast Interstate Logistics, because a few people have been asking me the status of it, and I haven't seen anything on a planning board agenda, so I was just,
They will be coming back probably within the next 3 months. They've revised it, they've downsized it, and I believe they're going to come into all the regulations of the town of Southeast and just apply to the town for a special permit, is it? Is that the word? Special permit? Just for a special permit. They're not asking for any variances, no zone text
Right.
changes. What they had originally planned is not coming forward. It's been reduced in size.
okay. So all the questions at the public hearing that were
They
going
will
to
all
be
be answered accordingly.
answered in the FEIS?
Yes.
Okay, great, that's it, thank you.
And I don't know how much with the revision, how much more they have to do after that, but whatever the procedure is, it will continue forward.
Okay, good,
Thank
thank
you.
you very much.
Okay?
Mike Bruin. I had some questions on the,
Sorry, Mike, can you pick up that microphone a little bit? Thanks.
I had some questions on the Lakeview Manor renovation, the financials. Mr. Hay, you specifically requested that I put all of my questions in writing to you. I received no reply to that email, and that was on 18 February. On 21 February, I then forwarded it to the entire town board. Have still received no reply whatsoever.
What's the date of this?
18 February, 10:15 a.m. That was a Monday. That was sent to you. I believe it was a holiday. You may or may not have been here. Not particularly sure. Then on 21 February, which is a Thursday at 1:12 p.m., I forwarded that email to the entire town board and received no reply.
Mike, I'm looking right here, there was a reply sent on the 24th.
Pertaining to what?
Your questions. The email that was sent on the 18th.
I've received no reply.
I have it right here. It looks like it went out the 24th at 7 a.m. to, oh, it's not coming out,
And just,
to your email.
what's the email address that was
Do
sent?
you mind if I read it?
You go ahead.
It's mikeb285@hotmail.com.
I've literally received nothing. I mean, I can go on and check, but nothing has been sent to me whatsoever. I mean, can you read me the email?
No, it's lengthy.
No, it's
Well,
lengthy.
can you give me the Spark Notes version? I mean, what does it entail?
I'd be happy to forward it to you, but I'm not going to read it here.
See, I don't see how I couldn't have received. I received every email. I mean, the only one who generally replies is Ms. Stancotti. I've received no reply whatsoever.
No, that's not true. The town board responds as well, and we did.
Mike, I'd be
That's
happy
right.
to.
The only one I've received a reply to was your denial of my FOIL request.
Oh, that's not true.
Mike, I'd be happy to forward this to you, and you should be able to see and change
What's the subject header to it?
town concerns.
No, that's not the email I sent. The subject was town financial questions. So that's a reply to a completely separate email. So I find it erroneous. I mean, who from the town board sent the reply?
The town board.
I believe this came from the town board.
Right, but who on the town board? Not all 5 members. I mean, one member's not even here today, so it couldn't be the entire town board. Who actually pressed enter?
When it comes from town board, it's sent on behalf of the town board. Whose email address comes from, I don't really recall who may have sent it, but it was a response.
I mean, can anyone here even remember any of the questions I asked?
Well, there's numerous questions, they were all answered.
Well, yeah, but they're not, because it clearly wasn't received by me. I
don't
think we're
know
pulling the
why
wool
that
over
would
my
happen.
eyes here.
Well, Mike,
Well, it didn't come back to us as not,
yeah, and I could forward you this reply. and
If you forward it right now, I'll see it immediately, because I received no reply.
what day was it sent? It was sent Sunday, the 24th. So I would have sent back that, it would have come from my computer. But.
Because there's a pattern of behavior. I've even
There's
said,
no pattern of behavior.
why are you not letting me speak? There's a pattern of behavior to not replying to questions in my emails. Generally, like the last replies, and once again, the only one who actually did step up to the plate and reply was Mr. Larka, who finally, it was email after email. It's closed. What's closed? It's closed. What's it? It's closed. There was many points in that message. I get it. The message was because there's possible future litigation that you can't reply. But the reason there's possible future litigation is because there is no reply. That's the point. Because I'm not getting answers to any questions. Anything from I'll spend very specific questions that are completely ignored by everyone, including Ms. Stancotti. I sent an email very specifically asking. I was told that it was needles in a haystack asking for financial records of the town. I asked, well, then what is the filing system? No reply. Those are things that need to be furnished to me. If you want me to narrow it down, I need to be given that information. Anything from building department. I specifically asked how they're coming to a conclusion, et cetera. No reply. They got the email because they've gone through the town. I've gotten different things. It's proven they got it. There's just no replies. And yet again, I'm not seeing anything. So I don't know if that's the proper email, not the proper email, because it still hasn't come through. If you want me to pass the phone around, you guys can verify it by all means. Because, again, we're getting back to the Lakeview Manor renovation. I'm being asked to pay for
We're not
copies.
going, Mr. Bruin, we've already discussed that. We're not.
No, it's a new FOIL request. We will.
What's a new FOIL request?
I've asked
You
for
have-
the.
have you
I've
asked
asked.
for it? Have you
Yes,
asked-
I've asked for more recent Lakeview Manor renovation.
And it was sent out to you?
It was not.
Oh, come
I
on.
specifically asked yet again. A total was given to me. I asked to see the invoices. I was not sent it, but I'm being asked to pay for that because based on the premise that there are no files of that fucking record.
Respectfully, I have to, let's agree to disagree. I know for a fact that we have responded, and I know that Michelle responded recently. And I think she couldn't have made it any more clear how she detailed things out, so.
Well, hypothetically, I'm being told that I need to pay to see the financials of a town project. Is that correct? Can we agree on
She
that?
explained it in the email.
But what I don't understand is how are there no files on the financial spending of a town project?
But isn't that, Michelle is the FOIL officer, and I don't know that, is that something that the town board would even make a decision on?
No, there's no need.
I don't know that we can help you with that, but you do have, if you're not satisfied, you have avenues that you can pursue.
See, I understand that. I'm doing my best not to sue the town. That's what I'm doing right now. You cannot not have files. I've proven time and time again, everything's ignored. That for the MU1 state authorized forms and files you have to keep. And then I'm told that there are no files. If there's files, I have to be able to view those for free. The MU1 schedule from New York State says you have to keep them. I'm being told that those files don't exist because you don't keep them, so I have to pay for you to look for them. Then why can't I look at the financials for free?
Reread the emails, that's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
So there are files.
It's explained to you, you don't understand it, get help. That's all I can tell you.
No, I do understand it.
You- Obviously,
That-
you don't.
Again,
And
this is.
we're not discussing it tonight, it's not a town board
This is a
issue.
town board meeting, it's not.
It is, because again, we've met at an impasse. The problem is, all I'm getting is like your nefarious actions towards absolutely no transparency when it comes to the town spending on this specific topic.
You've requested the FOILs. You've been in contact with the New York State Committee on Open Government. You had 12 emails.
How would you know I've been in contact with, how would you know I've been in contact with
Because
them?
we know.
How do you know?
You say you don't get emails, but we send out emails and you don't get them. That's interesting.
You're right, that doesn't
You've
answer
had-
the question. How do you
Mr.
know
Berlin-
if I have or have not been
We're
in
not
contact
going
with
to sit here
them?
and argue with you. You talk.
Well, you made a statement. I'm asking you, how do
No,
you
I'm not
know
gonna-
I've been
I'm
in
not answering
contact
a
with
statement. We're
them?
not going to go there now. You make your comments, we're going to make ours, and we're going to move on. Go.
Okay, how do you know I've been in contact with them, with the Committee on Open Government?
Because they contacted the town.
There's been emails back and forth that we've been copied on.
Okay, then that's an answer. So why is it, like, yet again, maybe you have the wrong email. I've received no email. I mean, it is what it is, but why is there no transparency? Why can't I see the invoices to what this project is? A project that's nearly $1 million.
We don't have the records in the format the way you want them. You've been told that repeatedly by the town clerk.
Okay,
We
well,
can't let you see a file we don't have in a sense. We have numbers, we have bills. It's not in the format, and we don't have to create that format. You're not going to be allowed to go into the accountant's office and sit there and go through his texting or emails, and it's not happening. But
I don't need to go through it. That's
you
why there's
sent
a
you
FOIL
something today, and you're
officer.
claiming you did not get it.
Did not get one.
Did you get it? What did it say? What did it say?
No, the email actually did just come through.
Huh?
The email for the first time did just come through.
What came through?
The email Mr. Alarka just forwarded
Oh.
to
You
me.
could see that you were on the original, right?
I don't know if I can go through that now. It just
Well,
says
well,
to-
oh, yes, you can.
It says to Michael
If you can
Bruins.
see it.
Yeah, I mean, and if you look, I mean, it's, like, I'm looking at it, I just forwarded it to you, you should be able to see it as well, that it was sent on February 24th, a Sunday, at 7 a.m. It's to the same email address. But just, you know, we do hear, we do respond.
All the emails that come into the town every town board member has an opportunity to review it, make comment. That's why it takes not a little bit longer than normal. I mean, we don't jump when we get an email. We got tons of things here to do in this town. When we got that email in particular, everyone had input. I think everybody on this board and a person that's not here this evening all had input on that reply. And it went out on that day at that time. And you're claiming you didn't get it? Well, you got it now. What's next?
I do, but you're saying, all right, so you're saying it was forwarded to me, but I should see that I was on the original, is what you're saying?
It's a fact, I'm looking at it right here, Mike. It's from the town board, Sunday, February 24th, to Michael Bruin. And if you don't mind me saying your email, I can, but it's here.
You can,
It's-
we've said
it's-
it before, but part of the issue is like, A, I don't believe it because I never received it. B, it says town concerns. The original subject was town financial questions. Who would change the subject? It's all a big game of showing anyone here a camera. Nope, we sent it out, and you
Well, no.
waited until I came here tonight
Mike,
to try to forward it to me.
I think I think it may have, the subject may have changed when you forwarded it to the town board.
No, it didn't, because I sent Mr. Hayes a specific copy, then forwarded it to you with the same exact
I
town
have-
financial questions.
I have the one, I don't know that we need to work this right now, but I
We
do have
don't,
the
we
one.
definitely don't, because now we're just wasting time. But again, it literally has not been forwarded to me until this point right now.
Nah, no way. Okay, what's next?
I'm not gonna waste any more time, I mean.
Thank you. Have a
'cause
good evening.
quite-
Anyone else?
Yep.
Kathy, did you want to say anything?
Where's she? Where'd Kathy go?
Oh, Kathy McBride.
Oh, town board.
Nothing.
Yeah, last meeting, I think we had people here about traffic on Route 22. And we asked the Putnam County Traffic Safety Board for advice on perhaps looking into a traffic signal at a location, Acme Plaza. Eric went to the meeting, and he was able to report back to us that that plaza, or I guess DOT did a traffic study years ago to improve traffic flow on Route 22, and they don't have the funds at this point to do any of the modifications that they thought they would. And they said that to put in a traffic signal at that point, they would need to do a new traffic study, which would have to be paid for by the owners of that plaza or the town. And she thought that the traffic study would probably not show that there was sufficient traffic flow to warrant a light at that location. So I was late getting to the meeting. The sheriff said that they would get back to it at the next meeting in April, so hopefully we'll have some more information then. Eric also asked a couple of questions, I guess, about about traffic or about paving Route 22, and they said that that was not.
Yeah, I think when whoever came to talk about putting a traffic light there, they also discussed potentially having a suicide lane or kind of tuck-in turn lane for the plaza.
Right.
We asked if that could be considered, and, you know, as part of what needs to be a resurfacing of 22, which needs to happen, and they would be two totally separate things, and she also didn't think that at the time they would be able to modify the lanes. However, it could potentially be resurfaced, and they were going to look into that.
Right.
And just a point of clarification, if I may, I think it's not really the Acme Plaza that we're talking about, it's where Sinappi's is at. It was
Yeah.
right,
Yes.
Yes.
so, yeah.
Oh, it's
Palmer,
not actually,
Palmer.
I'm sorry, it's Palmer. You're right.
Okay.
I'm sorry, it's Palmer.
Acme's got their own.
Yeah, no, I thought
Right.
we got two.
And they're
There's
not
one
giving
at
us-
Acme and one at 312, so I believe the
Well,
distance is too
Ace
short.
Hardware.
Ace
Ace.
Hardware, oh,
Jeez, if you're gonna get a commercial, at least get the names right.
well, okay.
We're not paying for that commercial.
And I think there was other discussion of Cobb Road. I think Erica talked to them because we had brought up this issue about Cobb Road being a cut-through for traffic off of 84 during traffic issues on 84. They cut through Cobb Road to get to Route 22 through Croton Falls. And residents there had asked if we could do something. I believe that the DOT said that we would need to petition the DOT to put in a local traffic-only sign. So if we can do that at some point.
We can, put it on the next, put it on next agenda.
Okay.
Yeah, there's none there now.
No, there isn't. There is a speed limit signs, but there is no local traffic-only sign.
Okay. And that helps with the enforcement with the sheriff's department?
Yeah, the sheriff, it would help with the sheriff's department because then they could, if it was local traffic only, I think they think the majority of the violators are out-of-state plates, so they could point to that being a reason for stopping those people from going through, so.
Well, speeding is the biggest problem.
Well, speeding's a different thing, but I think it's just the volume of cars on that road during highway accidents. And so that's what I've got to report.
Okay. Anyone else?
Nope.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to close tonight's meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for coming.